Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. So, we have another What Would Monica Do episode, and I've been loving the feedback on this. So, if you guys have been loving the episodes and being able to get these like short, sweet little bursts of advice from yours truly, please make sure that you let me know so that I know, obviously, because if you guys love something, then I put more effort into it because I know it's being well received. So, please make sure you shoot me a DM if you're enjoying it. And if you haven't already submitted your question, then you should be in the behind the scenes bubble so that you can do so. Okay, so let's jump in and listen to today's question from Cheyenne.
What would Monica do if she was receiving backlash for stating that a woman should never text a man first after the first date? And in turn, she was told that she's emasculating men and that she should just go back to the 1950s with her gender roles.
Okay, I love this question and I love the how specific it is, right? Like go back to the 1950s with your gender roles. So I mean, you guys know my stance on this, obviously. And even with the whole gender role thing, it's not about that women have to do this, men have to do this, or women should do this, men should do that. It's actually about finding what works for you in your relationship. Me and my boyfriend, we have an amazing relationship, and it's very, sub-dom, feminine, masculine, however you want to put it. And as I will be sharing with you guys in the female feminine breadwinner masterclass, we have a, abnormal dynamic in that I am technically the breadwinner, but I am the feminine, like 1000%. I never feel like the masculine, and he will put me in my fucking place if I am kind of pushing that feminine limit, going into masculine territory. So we have gender roles, but they're not necessarily, what people did in the 1950s. Yes, I'm the one that cleans, but cooks, but he's actually the one that cleans more. I'm fucking messy and he's really tidy. What are some other examples? A prime example, I make more money, right? And he works as well all the time. But because I own a company, naturally, obviously, I make more money. So, firstly, on the gender role thing, I want everyone to understand that, yes, I do agree gender roles are very important. And I have probably mentioned this in a podcast before. I know it's a chapter in my book. They serve couples because it makes it really clear of who's doing what job, right? Like even when you think about it, like if you never know who's going to cook dinner, every day it's a conversation of who's cooking dinner. And then I don't feel like, oh, maybe I could, oh, you don't want to, okay, I could, I don't really feel like it. It's like, it's a fucking decision every day. And it doesn't make the relationship easier. So when you know what your roles are within the relationship, it becomes easy. I know that I make dinner every night, so I get to sort out what I want, what I'm going to cook us for dinner, right? He knows that he takes the garbage out. So he would never even consider asking me to take the garbage out. When we go to the car, it's never who wants to drive. He always drives. So I just get in the passenger seat. It actually just makes it easier. Like we as humans thrive with routine and structure. We need repetition. Like we need to go to the bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, eat at the same time. All of those things do really good things for our body and for our nervous system. So let's add into that you knowing what you are doing in the relationship and your roles. Hi, Butter. He agrees. He's just looking at me with a really funny face. You knowing what your role is in the relationship is going to help make the relationship easier. Now, on the question of like, what do you do when you get backlash when, you're saying, I don't text guys after the first date? Firstly, I'm with you on that one. Do not text guys after the first date. Even if you fucking like, okay, if you've like left your most expensive pair of earrings at his house, like, okay, maybe then. But if you left a fucking umbrella, still don't do it. Like, don't try and find a reason to text him. Don't do it. You need to let a man chase you. And if you haven't listened to my other episodes about dating, please go back and do so because they are really, really fucking good. But just to recap on some of the main things. So, men are made to chase and hunt. And in fact, if you're in the embodiment of dating, which is opening up again this year, so if you've been waiting for the embodiment of dating to open up again, it will open up again this year, and I will do a VIP option again, I'm pretty sure. So if you know that you want to do the embodiment of dating, please make sure that you are on the wait list so that you get early bird price, and also so you don't miss out on that, because then it will close again. Um, so I do mention in there about even, and I tell you how, but like even um when you're in a relationship, ensuring that your man is chasing. Like even in my relationship, there'll be little things that I do, and I'm not manipulating. That's not what this is about. It's not about manipulating somebody. It's about playing to their biology. Right? So you are not going to get a man that adores you, chases you, cherishes you, loves you, works for you every day if you don't give him opportunities to chase, because men just do well with chasing, right? Women do well with receiving. We don't want to have to chase, and if you have a desire to chase, that is a childhood wound. You don't have a wound of I desire to chase. It's something else I won't go into right now. But a man has a desire to hunt and chase, because when he hunts something down and gets it, he feels like he's won it and he will cherish it. So if he hasn't had to hunt you down and chase you, he won't feel like he's won you and that he's had to win you over. So he will not cherish you as much. Now, and this doesn't mean that you need to make him chase you for months, because that's not what happened with me and my boyfriend, right? Like I made him chase me, but we were basically fucking living together within a week. Like we were inseparable once things kicked off. But as things were starting to we were getting into that and we were dating at the beginning, even though we were seeing each other all the time, the chasing was still in the forms of like not fucking texting first, of not laying every single thing out on the table, of being a little bit of a mystery. And it's not because you're playing a game, and I'm not sitting there with myself or sitting there telling you guys, like exactly what to do. You have to do this, you have to do that. Like it's always about what feels good, obviously. But when you really tune into your feminine, what actually feels good is to be opened by a man. I don't want to vomit my shit onto you. I want you to want me so badly and want to know me so badly that you want to find out every fucking dirty secret and everything in between. Right? So, and something that I always actually like to think about is when we have these women, right, that are like that's so like why that's so 1950s. Why do you let a man, why do you wait for a man to text you first? Like why don't you text him first? Like we're in 2020, lol, we're in 2022. Like a woman can ask a man out on a date. I just feel like telling them sometimes and being like, and how's that going for you? Like, and even if they're in a relationship, like boys, not no no not right now, thank you. And even if they're in a relationship, like I like to kind of think, how much sex are you guys having and how hot is your relationship? And do you feel really fucking wanted every fucking day? Like, do you feel like he would eat you alive if he could, because that is how much he loves you? But do you feel like he literally cannot get enough of you and that you cannot get enough of him? Because even if you are in a relationship, right, that's like fucking fine, let's say the relationship is fine, I don't want you guys to be in a fine relationship or a good relationship. I want you to be in a fucking amazing relationship where you cannot get enough of each other, where the sex is out of fucking control, the safety, the communication, the depth, the intimacy, the fun, the love, like everything is just off the charts. That is what I want you to be in. And in order to be in that, you have to be thinking about playing to each other's strengths, right? So you have to be thinking about playing to each other's biology. That's why I'm like, so if you're a man listening to this and you're thinking about joining the man, in the man, I teach you about understanding women, because if you understand women, it's going to also improve your relationships, right? Like understanding the opposite sex is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself, in my opinion. Because if you are wanting to be in amazing relationships with the opposite sex and you do not understand them, I'm like, good fucking luck to you. And if you are not having luck with dating, and I don't even like the word luck, if you're not finding that, if you are fitting yourself, if you are putting yourself into the category of the women that are saying there are no good men, all the good men are taken, like where is he, where are all the good men, like men are just weak these days, men just don't text first, like men are just lazy, men are this, like all of those fucking things on Instagram, right? The people that girls share about guys all the time, just all the emasculation that goes on. I'm like, and how is that working out for you? Like it's just, yeah, like take a look at yourself. If you are finding that you are not having success with dating, okay, then maybe it's your fault. Like maybe it's not on the guys, maybe it's you. And that's not saying that every guy is fucking perfect. Absolutely not, right? I've done a lot of dating and I've come across some guys where I'm like, and this is why you're single, right? Like, not to be mean, but I'm like, this makes sense. So I'm not saying that every guy is perfect or anything, and you are not perfect. What I'm saying is that in order for you to have more success with dating, you need to understand how to behave in a way that is going to get you what you want from a man, right? Because, and not in a manipulative way, if you are wanting a man to, let's say, commit to you, the way that you would get your girlfriend to commit to you is fucking different to the way that you would get a man to commit to you. And if you are leaking your fucking energy all over the place, feeling anxious all the time because you're wanting this guy to commit to you, like there are so many things in, when people are dating and they're anxious all the time and they're avoidant all the time and they're just wanting this guy, like there's just so many layers to having a really good dating experience. And one of the most important layers is understanding men. And then another really important layer is the embodiment in which you come in with dating. Hence, like, the embodiment of dating masterclass will change your fucking life. I'm not joking. So like if you don't already have it, if you're not already in there, please, for the love of God, make sure you're on the wait list, because it's not just about understanding men with dating. It's then about how can I hold myself in dating? How can I hold my boundaries? How can I not get anxious? How can I not get avoidant? Like there are other layers to also be factoring in so that you can have an easy dating experience, so that you don't go into an anxious spin out and then actually text him first, so that you can actually let him text you first. Like, great, understand men, yes, perfect, tick. Then can you actually do that? Like you might understand it, but then can you actually do it? Can you actually let him text you first? Can you actually let him chase you? Can you actually receive? Can you actually do these things? Because a lot of women can't. A lot of women can't. And that obviously ties in with this heavy masculine dominant world that we're living in that doesn't support the femininity. So I'm going to leave the episode there, but I hope that helps. Oh, wait. So wait, the actual question was like how to deal with the backlash. Don't deal with it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't care what somebody thinks about me. Like, if somebody has like fucking 2 cents on, I don't know, my Instagram or the way in which I live my life, I'm like, I don't care what you think about me, because I am not living my life for you. I'm living it for me. So if your friend thinks that you are behind the times and weird as fuck for not texting a man first, let her think that. Who cares? It doesn't matter. She's not the one dating him. She's not also in the relationship. It's just you, right? It's you. So if you are wanting to behave in that way, then that's great. And you know what? Like, I always kind of wonder, and how's the fucking relationship going for them? Like, it's so interesting. And I actually write about this in my book. When I am researching things for my book and I come across these articles written by, let's say, radical feminists, I will look them up. And I cannot find one woman that is glowing, magnetic, clearly well fucked. You can tell by someone's face and someone's energy whether they're well fucked. Glowing, magnetic, well fucked. I can't tell they're in a relationship. There's never a wedding band on or an engagement ring. And you don't have to be obviously married to say that you're in a good relationship, because you can be married in a fucking shit relationship. But it's so interesting the amount of women that are quote unquote feminists. And I try and find like details on them, and it's like they're single. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't, like, I do understand, but I'm like, how are these women deeply happy? And that is not to say you need to be in a relationship to be happy. No, I was so fucking happy being single. I've loved being in relationships in my life, and I've loved being single. And I've also fucking hated being single. And I've also fucking hated being in relationships sometimes. Do not think that being in a relationship is going to make you happy, because that's obviously not true. But it's just interesting to me, just an interesting observation of how these women are not only single and like, clearly like very successful women, they look exhausted, they look drained, they don't have this like beaming life force moving through their face. And I'm like, I feel like that just says it all. I'm like, I do not want that. I don't care whether I fit in. Okay, Jelly, oh, you need more water. Okay, hold on. I don't care whether I don't fit into society's norms. I am fucking happy, and I am in a relationship that makes me very happy and that fucking nourishes my soul. And my man is so happy because he's in a relationship where he gets to be heavily in his masculine. So everybody wins. Like, you being in your feminine and letting men being in their masculine, everybody wins. So I'm gonna leave the episode there because Jelly's having a fucking shit fit because he's like, "Mummy, give me water." He's like literally throwing his bowl around and he's looking at me with the most intense eyes. I wish you could see, like, give me water, bitch. So I'm going to go deal with that. Reminder, join the Embody from Dating Masterclass. Join the man, or send it to the men in your life or your partner if you know that he would like to join. And that's what we're going to leave it at. We're going to leave it at that. Everyone have a good day, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.